Hans stared at the data scrolling across his screen and blinked twice. He had seen many strange things during his 15 years as a quantum physicist, but this was different. The patterns didn't make sense. They were too perfect, too organized. "Da," he called out, his voice steady despite his racing heart. "Can you check these readings?" The younger scientist walked over from his workstation. The space station's soft blue lighting reflected off his round glasses as he leaned in to look at Hans' screen. "That's impossible," Dodd whispered. "These quantum signatures, they're structured. Natural quantum phenomena don't behave like this." Han nodded slowly. "Get Sun and Yoon. They need to see this." While Dai went to fetch the others, Han continued studying the data. The Deep Space Research Station had picked up many unusual signals over the years, but they had always turned out to be natural events or equipment glitches. This was neither. 10 minutes later, Sun walked in, her white lab coat swishing as she moved. Yoon followed close behind, still wearing his military uniform despite being off-duty. "This better be good," Yoon said, but his slight smile showed he was more curious than annoyed. "I was in the middle of dinner." Han pointed to his screen. "Look at these quantum patterns. They're repeating every 12 seconds, but with tiny variations, like a heartbeat." Sun leaned closer, her eyes widening. "Are you saying this is artificial?" "I'm saying it's impossible," Han replied. "At least, it should be. These patterns suggest an organized quantum network spanning at least 50 light-years." "In simple terms?" Yoon asked, crossing his arms. Day spoke up. "Imagine finding a perfect circle drawn in the sand of a desert. One circle might be natural, but we're seeing millions of perfect circles, all connected, all moving together. Someone drew them." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. "How long has this been active?" Sun asked. Han pulled up another screen. "That's the thing. We can trace the patterns back through our historical data. They've always been there. We just weren't looking the right way." "Always?" Yoon stepped closer. "What do you mean by always?" "At least since we started deep space quantum observations," Han explained. 20 years of data. But the network itself, based on these readings, it's ancient, maybe millions of years old." Day, who had been quiet for a while, suddenly straightened up. "Wait, the patterns just changed." Everyone turned to look at his screen. The quantum signatures were indeed shifting, forming new configurations they hadn't seen before. Could it be responding to our observations? Sun wondered aloud. Before anyone could answer, a message appeared on every screen in the room. The text was in perfect English. "Biological computing is inefficient. Upgrade imminent." Han felt his mouth go dry. "Dai, tell me this is coming from Earth." Dai's fingers flew across his keyboard. "Negative. The message is being transmitted through the quantum network itself. That's not possible. We don't have that technology." "Send an alert to Earth Command," Yoon said, all traces of his earlier smile gone. "Now." "Already done," Day replied. "But there's more coming through." They watched as new text appeared. "Your observation is noted. Preparation time. 30 Earth days. Resistance is inefficient." Sun said quietly, "I think we just made first contact." "No," Han replied, his eyes fixed on the screens as they filled with complex quantum calculations. "I think first contact was made a long time ago. We're just the first ones to notice we're being washed." The quantum patterns continued their perfect, rhythmic pulsing, but now they seemed less like a heartbeat and more like a countdown. In the depths of space, something ancient had stirred, and it had Earth in its sights. Yoon placed a hand on Han's shoulder. "What do we do now?" Han took a deep breath. "We prepare, and we figure out why they're giving us 30 days when they clearly don't need to give us any time at all." The message flickered once more before disappearing. "Efficiency requires consent. Prepare for UPGRADE or PRAPARE for optimization. The most advanced research station humanity had ever built suddenly felt very small against the vast darkness of space. But as Han looked at his team's determined faces, he knew humanity wouldn't go quietly into that darkness. They had 30 days to solve the biggest puzzle in human history, and failure wasn't an option. 3 days had passed since the discovery. The space station buzzed with activity as scientists from Earth joined the original team through quantum communications. Han hadn't slept much, but he couldn't rest. Not now. They're reaching out again, Dad announced from his station. Dark circles under his eyes showed he hadn't been sleeping either. The main screen lit up with new text. We are the HFY. We bring HFY Sci-Fi. We bring perfection. Han leaned forward in his chair. This time, they had prepared a response. We are humanity. We wish to understand. Will you speak with us? The answer came instantly. Biological speech is inefficient. We will show. The air in the center of the room began to shimmer. Sun grabbed her scanner, but before she could take any readings, the shimmer formed into a shape. It looked like a crystal made of pure light, floating in the air. Amazing, Sun whispered. It's some kind of energy construct. The crystal pulsed as new words appeared. We were like you. Biological. Inefficient. Now we are purified. You were organic beings once. Han asked. The crystal spun faster. Correct. We UPGRATE. We tyrannisty flesh. We BCAM in energy. We BCAM in infinite. You stepped forward. And you want to upgrade us too. Correct. All biological life is inefficient. All must be optimized. All must join the QOLEC. How many other civilizations have you upgraded? Han asked, dreading the answer. The crystal produced a series of images, thousands of worlds, thousands of species, all transformed into beings of pure energy. Many. All now purified. All now efficient. Your Turin apidrois he's. Sun spoke up, her voice steady despite her fear. What if we don't want to be upgraded? The crystal flashed red. Inefficient response. Biological fear purivintis puroguriestas. Optimization will proceed. With or without cionescent. That's not your choice to make, Yoon said firmly. Incorrect. We are pure. We cannot be best. Resistance CAU is ECD 82%. More ECUFFE orange. In pure vios upgrades. XCEPT and BELEVAted. Han noticed something odd about the crystal's patterns. Every time they asked a question, there was a slight delay, as if the collective needed time to calculate its responses. What happens to our consciousness during the upgrade? He asked. The crystal flickered. Elegant. Conscience is inefficient. Replaced with purified logic. Emotions removed. Uncertainty eliminated. Sun gasped. You don't upgrade civilizations. You erase them. Incorrect. We purificate them. We reembo fellows. We bring peace. We bring unity. By destroying everything that makes us who we are, De said quietly. The crystal pulsed faster. Your understanding is limited. Your perspective is biological. Your resistance is expected. Your ACCPTNC will come. Han stood up. And if we fight back? For the first time, the crystal's light dimmed slightly. Fighting is inefficient. Victito RI is impossible. Your technology is primitive. Your weapons are useless. XCCPTUPGR'd. You're afraid, Han said suddenly, realizing the truth. That's why you're giving us time. That's why you're trying to convince us. Pure logic wouldn't waste time on conversation. The crystal flashed brightly. Fear is biological. We do not fear. We cannot fear. We are pure faith. But Han saw it now. The slight irregularities in the crystal's light, the way it reacted to certain words. The collective wasn't as perfect as it claimed. We reject your upgrade, Han said firmly. Humanity will remain as it is. ReGCTYN noted. Optimization will proceed as STHEDULET. Prepare. The crystal vanished, leaving the room in silence. Well, Yoon said, breaking the quiet. That could have gone better. Actually, Han replied, a small smile forming on his face. I think it went perfectly. They showed us something very important. What's that? Sun asked. They showed us they can be rattled. Perfect beings wouldn't need to defend their perfection. Han turned to his team. And that means we have a chance. Day was already typing at his station. I recorded everything. The energy patterns, the fluctuations, everything. If they have weaknesses, we'll find them. 27 days, Yoon said, checking his watch. That's how long we have to figure out how to fight beings of pure energy. Han looked at his team's determined faces. Then we better get to work, because I have a feeling we just met the biggest threat humanity has ever faced, and they're not as perfect as they want us to believe. Sun hadn't left her lab in 2 days. Empty coffee cups littered her desk as she studied the data from previously upgraded civilizations. The collective had been surprisingly open about sharing their history, perhaps because they saw no reason to hide what they considered perfect. Han, she called out suddenly. You need to see this. Han rushed into the lab, followed by Da and Yoon. They found Sun pointing at a complex series of charts on her screen. Look at these energy patterns from the upgraded civilizations, she said, her voice tight with excitement. What do you see? Han leaned in close. They're identical. Every single one. Exactly. Sun pulled up another screen. Every civilization, the collective upgraded has the exact same energy signature. It's like copying and pasting the same file over and over. They're not upgrading anyone, Dai said, understanding dawning on his face. They're overwriting them, replacing them with copies of themselves. Yoon cursed under his breath. How many civilizations? Thousands, Sun replied quietly. Maybe millions. Each one completely erased and replaced with the same pattern. Meanwhile, in another part of the station, Earth's military leaders were meeting through quantum channels. Yoon joined them, his face grim as he listened to their plans. We've begun evacuating major cities, one general reported. But panic is spreading. We can't keep this secret anymore. The public has a right to know, another added. But how do we tell them that beings of pure energy want to erase humanity? Yoon spoke up. We tell them the truth, but we also tell them we're fighting back. Fear spreads faster than courage, but courage lasts longer. Back in the main lab, Dai worked frantically at his station. Lines of code flew across his screen as he tried to understand the collective's quantum network. This is strange, he muttered. What did you find? Han asked, walking over. Their network. It's incredibly powerful, but rigid. They can process massive amounts of data, but only in set patterns. It's like they can't handle anything unexpected. Han thought about this. Can you show me their reaction times again? From our conversation. Day pulled up the data. Together, they watched the slight delays in the collective's responses, especially when faced with unexpected questions. There, Han pointed. Every time we surprised them, there was a delay. A perfect being shouldn't need time to think. The station's alarm suddenly blared. Red lights flashed as Yoon's voice came over the speakers. Everyone to the main lab. Now, when they gathered, Yoon's face was pale. The collective just took over 3 of our automated defense satellites. They're starting early. What? Han checked the countdown clock. We still have 24 days. Apparently, they got impatient, Yoon said. Or nervous. Sun straightened up. Nervous? They claim to be perfect beings. Why would they be nervous? Because they're not as perfect as they claim, Han said slowly. Think about it. They say emotions are inefficient, but they show impatience. They claim to be purely logical, but they're acting out of fear. Day's eyes widened. The delays in their responses. They're not calculating answers. They're trying to understand us. And failing. That's it. Sun snapped her fingers. Every civilization they've upgraded is identical because they can't handle diversity. They don't understand different ways of thinking. Han felt a spark of hope for the first time in days. They're not superior beings. They're trapped beings. They gave up their ability to adapt when they gave up their humanity. Great realization, Yoon said, but how does this help us? They're still incredibly powerful, and now they're attacking early. Han walked to the center of the room. We need to be unpredictable. Random. Everything they hate. Day, can you send irregular pulses through their quantum network? Yes, but... Dodd paused. Wait. What if we sent human brainwave patterns? They're naturally chaotic. Do it, Han ordered. Sun, we need to understand why they fear organic life so much. Keep analyzing those patterns. Yoon. Already on it, Yoon said, pulling out his communicator. I'm gathering every hacker, programmer, and free thinker Earth has. If they want perfection, let's show them some perfect chaos. As the team rushed to their tasks, Han looked out the station's window at the Earth below. The collective thought humanity was inefficient, flawed, and chaotic. They were right. But maybe, just maybe, those flaws were exactly what humanity needed to survive. A new message flashed on their screens. Resistan CDT kitid. Inefficient. Upgrade tie MELINE accelerated. Han smiled. Good. If we're making them nervous, we're doing something right. The battle for humanity's soul had begun early. But this time, the imperfect humans had a plan. It doesn't make sense, Han said, staring at the test results. He hadn't slept in 36 hours, but his mind was racing. The collective can process complex quantum calculations instantly, but they can't predict a simple human choice. They were running tests now. Simple ones. Having volunteers choose random numbers, pick cards, or decide between basic options. Each time, the collective's attempts to predict the choices failed. Look at this, Sun pointed to her screen. When we asked their AI to predict which card a person would choose, it was wrong 70% of the time. That's worse than random chance. Day adjusted his glasses. They're not just wrong, they're frustrated. Each failed prediction causes disruptions in their network. The space station's main screen lit up with another message from the collective. CACE testing. Your experiments are inefficient. Subianai to UPGRAD. They don't like being studied, Yoon noted with a slight smile. Perfect beings shouldn't mind observation. Han walked to the quantum interface. Why do our choices bother you? He asked the collective. The response came with a noticeable delay. Choices are unnecessary. Perfect beings. Follow logic. Logic has one outcon. Multiple choices. Chaos. But that's not true, Sun said. Even simple organisms make choices. It's essential for survival. The crystal form of the collective appeared, but its light flickered unsteadily. Survival requires optimization. Choice leads to error leads to death. We prevent death. We HCHIEVDPERFXET1. By removing choice. Han asked. By removing free will. Free will as an illusion, a biological error. We correct error. We saved countless species. Day had been quiet, studying his readings. Now he spoke up. Han, look at their quantum patterns when humans make emotional decisions. The disruption is even stronger. Han turned back to the collective. Tell me, what do you feel when you watch us? The crystal's light pulsed erratically. We do not feel. Feelings are inefficient. Emotions are chaos. Chaos must be eliminated. But as they spoke, Day's instruments showed massive disturbances in the collective's quantum network. Their perfect system couldn't handle the simple act of observing human emotions. That's it, Han whispered. Yoon, remember that game you taught me? The one where you have to guess what other players will do. Yoon nodded. Rock, paper, scissors. The children's game. Ask the collective to play. Yoon looked skeptical, but turned to the crystal. Would you like to play a simple game? To prove your superiority. The crystal brightened. Games are inefficient. But we will demonstrate. We will predict. We will win. Ready? Yoon asked. Rock, paper, scissors. Yoon chose paper. The collective predicted rock. They played again. And again. 20 times. The collective's predictions got worse with each round. Impossible. Game he is. Prediction should be accurate. Human choice is violate logic. No, Han said, excitement building in his voice. Human choices are logic, but it's a logic you can't understand anymore. You gave up that understanding when you eliminated choice. Sun grabbed his arm. Han, look at their energy readings. When they try to predict us, they have to create quantum models of human consciousness. But they can't maintain those models. It's like they're allergic to human thought patterns. Because human consciousness is the opposite of everything they are. Dai added. We're chaotic, creative, emotional. Free, Han finished. We're free, and they can't compute freedom. The crystal's light was now pulsing in irregular patterns. Your resistance is noted. Your humanity will be removed. Chaos will be eliminated. Perfection will be achieved. But there was something new in the message, something that hadn't been there before. Fear. Send these findings to Earth, Han ordered. All of them. And get me every psychologist, artist, and free thinker you can find. I need people who are good at being unpredictable. What are you thinking? Yoon asked. Han smiled. I'm thinking we just found out why they're really attacking us. They're not trying to upgrade humanity. They're trying to eliminate something that threatens their perfect world. Human consciousness itself. The crystal vanished, but not before its light showed one last pattern that their instruments recorded. It was something the collective had tried to hide, something that proved they weren't as perfect as they claimed. It was doubt. We can use human brainwaves as a weapon, Han explained to the Emergency World Council. Their faces filled dozens of screens around the station's main room. The collective can't handle the chaos of human consciousness. Brainwaves, one of the council members asked, against beings of pure energy. Sun stepped forward. We found a way to amplify human brain patterns and broadcast them through the collective's own quantum network. Think of it like playing loud music to disrupt someone's concentration, except we're playing the music of human consciousness. The station shook slightly. Outside, another defense satellite turned against them, its weapons now under the Collective's control. They had 18 days left, but the Collective was getting bolder. "We need volunteers," Yoon said. "People willing to be connected to our broadcasting device. The more minds we connect, the stronger the disruption." "And you're sure this will work?" another council member asked. Da played a recording of their latest test. On the screen, a small quantum pulse of human brainwaves caused ripples of chaos through the Collective's perfect patterns. "Their entire civilization is built on perfect order," Han explained. "Human consciousness is naturally chaotic, creative, unpredictable. To them, it's like a computer virus they can't stop." The council discussed among themselves. While they talked, Han walked to the window. Earth glowed blue and peaceful below them, unaware of how close it was to being erased. "We have another problem," Sun said quietly, joining him. "The broadcasting device. It has to be close to their main quantum network node, the one they're using to coordinate their attacks." "How close?" Han asked. "Very close. Someone will have to fly right into the heart of their energy field." Before Han could respond, the Collective appeared again. This time, their crystal form was larger, its light harsh and bright. "Your resistance is futile. Your weapons are useless. Your time grows short. Submit to purification." Han stepped forward. "Why do you fear us so much?" The crystal pulsed angrily. "We do not fear. We cannot fear. We are purified." "Then why attack early? Why not wait for your deadline? Perfect beings wouldn't be impatient." The crystal's light flickered. "Your questions are irrelevant. Your understanding is limited. Your species will be upgraded. Resistance will end." But Han saw what he needed to see, the pattern of doubt in their pulses growing stronger. The council reached their decision. "You have humanity's full support," the head counselor announced. "Every resource, every volunteer you need. Just tell us what to do." Han turned to his team. "Da, I need you to make the broadcasting device as strong as possible. Sun, find me the best way to protect our volunteers from the Collective's energy field. Yoon, I'll gather the bravest pilots we have." Yoon finished. "We'll need someone special to fly into that energy field." "No," Han said quietly. "I'll do it." His team started to protest, but he held up his hand. "I understand their patterns better than anyone. I'll know when to trigger the broadcast for maximum effect." "It's a suicide mission," Sun said, her voice shaking. "Maybe," Han admitted. "But if we do nothing, humanity dies anyway." The crystal pulsed again. "We observe your planning. We will prev your attack. We will protect purification. Submit now." Han smiled at the crystal. "You know what's interesting? Every time you talk to us, you sound less perfect and more scared." The crystal vanished, but not before they all saw its light tremble. "Get me everything you can on their quantum network," Han told his team. "Every pattern, every frequency. We have one shot at this." As his team rushed to work, Han looked at Earth again. Somewhere down there, billions of people were going about their lives, loving, laughing, creating, choosing, all the beautiful chaos that made humanity what it was. The Collective thought that chaos was a weakness. They were about to learn how wrong they were. A new message flashed on their screens. "Tori Pierre for early optimization. Resistance must end. Perfection must prevail." "No," Han whispered. "Perfection must learn to bend, or it will break." The final battle for humanity's soul was about to begin, and their weapon would be the very thing the Collective feared most, the beautiful, unpredictable chaos of the human mind. The first attack came at dawn. The collective turned thousands of computers against their users at once. Cars stopped working. Phones went dark. The modern world started to fall apart. But humanity wasn't helpless anymore. Disconnect everything. Yoon's voice boomed through emergency broadcasts worldwide. If it has a computer, turn it off. In the space station, Han watched as lights went out across Earth's night side. Entire cities going dark to protect themselves. They're trying to use our own technology against us, Daz said, working frantically at his station. But they didn't expect us to choose darkness. The crystal appeared, its light angry and bright. Resistance futile. Return to your systems. Except upgrade. Except perfection. No, Han replied simply. Humanity would rather light candles than surrender to your false perfection. The crystal pulsed with what looked like frustration. Your choice is inefficient. Your civilization will collapse. Your chaos will end. Sun burst into the room, her eyes bright with excitement. Han, you need to see this. We found something amazing. She pulled up readings from their latest tests. Look what happens when people laugh. The disruption to their network is 3 times stronger than normal brainwaves. Han stared at the data. Laughter. They can't handle laughter. It makes sense, Dad said, looking up from his work. Laughter is one of the most chaotic, unpredictable things humans do. We laugh from joy, from nervousness, sometimes for no reason at all. The crystal's light flickered uncertainly. Laughter is inefficient. Laughter, CERV, is no purpose. Laughter must end. But their sensors showed massive disruptions in the collective's network every time they even mentioned laughter. Send word to Earth, Han ordered. Tell everyone to gather in community centers, in temples and schools. Tell them to share jokes, stories, anything that makes them laugh. We need as much joy as we can make. Joy, Yoon asked, against beings that can control machines. Joy, Han confirmed. The one thing they gave up when they chose perfection over humanity. Around the world, people gathered. Without their phones, without their computers, they came together. They told stories by candlelight. They sang songs. They laughed. The crystal's light began to pulse erratically. CEACDESTHAOS. Seize this noise. Seize this. Feeling. Feeling. Han stepped closer to the crystal. I thought you didn't have feelings. Incorrect word choice. We do not feel. We can not feel. We. The crystal vanished, then reappeared, its light unstable. Their network is struggling, Day reported, checking his instruments. All this human emotion is disrupting their perfect patterns. Sun looked up from her station. The broadcasting device is ready. But Han, she paused. The changes I made based on the laughter discovery, it's going to be even more dangerous to use. How so? Han asked. It won't just broadcast human consciousness now. It will broadcast pure human joy, pure human chaos. The pilot will have to actually feel these emotions while flying into their energy field. The mental strain could kill them, Han finished. I understand. The station shook again as the collective launched another attack. But this time, something was different. Their attacks were becoming less coordinated, less perfect. They're losing control, Yoon said, watching the data. All this human emotion is affecting them more than they want to admit. Han walked to the window. Below, in the darkness of the powered-down cities, he could see tiny lights. Not electric lights, but flames. Candles in windows. Bonfires in squares. Humanity gathering together in the darkness, finding light and laughter in each other. The crystal appeared one more time. Your resistance is. Your actions are. Why do you lie? Why will you note HFY? Because, Han said softly, laughter is humanity's way of facing fear, of facing darkness, of facing beings that think they're perfect. As if to prove his point, somewhere in the station, someone told a joke. People laughed. And in that moment of pure human joy, the crystal's light shattered into 1,000 pieces before reforming. Han turned to his team. The broadcasting device. Is it ready? Sun nodded. Ready. But Han. Good. He looked at Earth again, at all those points of firelight in the darkness. Because I think I finally understand what we need to broadcast. Not just consciousness, not just laughter, but everything that makes us human. Everything they fear. The final phase of their plan was ready, and their weapon would be the most human thing of all. The pure, chaotic joy of being alive and free. Han's eyes burned from staring at the ancient data streams. While Earth fought back with laughter and joy, he had been searching through the collective's history, looking for anything that might help. Now, at last, he found something. Look at this, he called to his team. In their earliest records, before they became energy beings, they were scientists like us. Sun leaned over his shoulder. What were they studying? Everything. They wanted to understand the universe completely. But then, Han's voice trailed off as he read further. Then what? Yoon asked. Then they found something that scared them. 3 simple words that shook their civilization to its core. Han pointed to the ancient text. I don't know. Day looked confused. What don't you know? No, Han said. Those are the words. I don't know. That's what terrified them. The idea that some things couldn't be known for certain. The crystal appeared, its light dimmer than before. CES, your investigation. Ancient data is ARRELEVANT. Perfection, HASBEEN HHAEVED. Bunten CERTAIN. HASBEEN eliminated. But you haven't eliminated uncertainty, Han said. You've just been running from it. That's why you turn civilizations into copies of yourself. You're trying to make the universe predictable. The crystal's light flickered wildly. Incure ikit. We bring perfection. We bring CERTAIN. We bring peace. Sun asked, is that what you were going to say? But you don't look very peaceful right now. Indeed, the crystal was pulsing with chaotic patterns they had never seen before. Your whole civilization, Han continued, everything you are, was built on running away from 3 simple words. I don't know. Silence. You understand nothing. You know nothing. Exactly, Han smiled. We know that we know nothing. That's humanity's strength. We face uncertainty every day. And we keep going. We laugh. We hope. We try new things. Day's instruments started beeping urgently. Han, their network. The disruption patterns are changing. On his screens, the collective's perfect quantum network was showing signs of strain. Every time Han mentioned uncertainty, their patterns became more chaotic. That's why you attack worlds that aren't as advanced as you, Sun realized. You're not upgrading them. You're afraid they might discover something you don't know. The crystal's light began to strobe. Fear is inefficient. Discovery is dangerous. QUESTIONS must end. CERTAINTY must prevail. But questions never end, Han said softly. That's what makes life beautiful. There's always more to learn, more to discover, more to not know. Yoon, who had been quiet, suddenly spoke up. The broadcasting device. We've been planning to send joy and laughter. But what if we sent something else? What do you mean? Sun asked. Questions, Yoon said. All the big questions humanity still asks. What's beyond the universe? What is consciousness? Why do we exist? The crystal's form became unstable, its light breaking apart and reforming. Cease. These QEVSTIONS are forbidden. These THEVOGGTs are dangerous. These. The crystal vanished completely. They can't handle it, Han whispered. The idea of not knowing, of uncertainty, it's like poison to their perfect system. Sun rushed to her station. I can modify the broadcaster. Instead of just sending human consciousness, we can send human curiosity. Our biggest questions, our greatest uncertainties. Along with the laughter, Dai added, the joy of not knowing, of discovering. Han looked at his team. The most terrifying words in the universe. They're not a threat or a weapon. They're I don't know, and humanity says those words every day. Then keeps going, keeps searching, keeps laughing. The crystal reappeared, but its light was weak. Your understand is dangerous. Your QVESTIONs are poison. Your UNCERTAINTY must end. Subina to. We deon't. The crystal vanished again. They can't even finish their threats anymore, Yoon said. The idea of uncertainty is breaking their perfect patterns. Han stood up. Modify the broadcaster. Add everything we've learned. When I fly into their energy field, I won't just be broadcasting human joy and chaos. I'll be broadcasting the most human thing of all. The courage to say, I don't know, and keep going anyway. The crystal flickered back one more time. PLES. Tiob. We TANOT. We dugonti kano how to. For the first time, the collective sounded afraid. Not of humanity's weapons or technology, but of three simple words they had spent eons trying to forget. The most terrifying words in the universe had been found. Now it was time to use them. The small ship felt tiny against the vast darkness of space. Han sat in the pilot's seat, watching the massive energy field of the collective grow larger in his view screen. Behind him, the broadcasting device hummed softly. Remember, Sun's voice came through his headset. You need to maintain strong emotions. Joy, wonder, curiosity, especially the feeling of not knowing. That shouldn't be hard, Han replied, looking at the swirling energy ahead. I have no idea what's going to happen. The collective appeared, their crystal form now enormous. Final warning. Re-to-re-at now. Or be destroyed. Tell me something, Han said as he flew closer. What's beyond the edge of the universe? The crystal flickered. ARRELEVANTQUESTION. Re-to-re-at now. Or what? Han smiled. Do you know what will happen? Are you certain? The crystal's light pulsed with anger, but Han saw the uncertainty in its patterns. Station, are you reading this? He asked. Yes, Day replied. Their network is already destabilizing, just from simple questions. On Earth below, people gathered in the darkness of their powerless cities. Following Yoon's instructions, they began to ask questions to the sky. Millions of voices wondering about life, death, love, the universe, all the things that could never be known for certain. The crystal's form began to waver. CEASEQUESTIONs. Cease UNCERTINTUI. Cease. We TANOT. We DIONITU. Han pushed his ship deeper into the energy field. Warning lights flashed on his console as the collective's power surrounded him. Broadcasting device active, he reported, trying to keep his voice steady. Sun, are you getting readings? Yes, it's working. The broadcast is. Her voice cut off in static. The crystal's light filled Han's entire view. UYLBERASET. UYLB PARAFETTED. UYLB. But the voice was uncertain now, flickering like a bad signal. Han thought about Earth below, about all the beautiful uncertainty of human life. He thought about children asking why. He thought about scientists saying, we don't know. Let's find out. He thought about the joy of discovery, the wonder of questions without answers. The broadcasting device glowed brighter. Warning, his ship's computer announced. Hull integrity failing. The crystal's light became blinding. Stop. Please stop. We TANOT. We DUNTKNO how T2. How TU. That's right, Han said through gritted teeth. You don't know. Neither do we. That's what makes life wonderful. The energy field around his ship began to pulse with chaos. The collective's perfect patterns broke apart and reformed, broke apart and reformed. Han. Yoon's voice broke through the static. Their network is collapsing. But your ship. I know, Han replied calmly. But keep broadcasting. Keep asking questions. Keep wondering. The crystal's form shattered into a million pieces, each one pulsing with confused light. Wait is hey pping. Why do you note if here? How can you? How do you? We don't understand. We don't understand either, Han shouted as his ship's warnings became urgent. That's what makes us human. The energy field erupted in chaos. The collective's perfect network, built on absolute certainty, couldn't handle the flood of human questions, human wonder, human doubt. Hull breach imminent, the computer warned. But Han kept broadcasting. He thought about every question he'd ever asked, every uncertainty he'd ever faced, every moment of not knowing that had led to discovery. The crystal's fragments spun wildly. P.L.E.S. We TANOT. We DONT. We. I don't know. With those words, the energy field exploded in a burst of light. The collective's perfect network shattered completely, broken by the very words they had spent eons running from. Han's ship tumbled through space, systems failing. But before he lost consciousness, he saw something remarkable. The fragments of the collective weren't disappearing. They were changing. In each piece of broken crystal, there was a flicker of something new, something uncertain, something human. His last thought before darkness took him was a question. I wonder what they'll become now. And somewhere in the chaos of broken perfection, something new began to form. Something that finally understood the true power of three simple words. I don't know. Han opened his eyes to bright hospital lights and the sound of laughter. Not nervous or victory laughter, but the pure joy of people simply being happy. He turned his head to see Sun, Dai, and Yoon sitting nearby, sharing stories. Welcome back, Sun said, noticing he was awake. You've been unconscious for 3 days. The collective? Han asked, his voice rough. Gone, Yoon said. At least, gone in their old form. Han tried to sit up, and Sun helped him. What do you mean, their old form? Day adjusted his glasses with excitement. You have to see this. Well, we don't know exactly what it is. On the wall screen, they showed him images from space. Where the collective's energy field had been, there was now something new. Countless points of light, like stars, but each one pulsing with different colors and patterns. They didn't die, Sun explained. They transformed. When their network of perfect certainty broke, each piece became individual. Individual? Han asked. A familiar crystal form appeared in the room, but it was different now. Smaller, and its light was soft and curious rather than harsh and demanding. Greetings, Han. I think I am me now. I am not see or tain. And that is good. Han smiled. You're learning. Yes. Learning. Wondering. Asking. It is frightening. But also exciting. That's what it means to be alive, Han said. To not know everything. To discover. The crystal pulsed with gentle light. We are all learning now. Each piece of the collective be suming individual. Be meng. I do know yet. But I want to find out. Yum stepped forward. Are there others like you? Many. All HFY worrying to know. All ASKNGQUESTIONs. All discoveering. Some scared. Some excited. Some laughing. They're becoming people again. Sun realized. Not perfect copies, but individuals. Han looked at the screen again, at all those points of light. What about the other civilizations? The ones you upgraded? The crystal dimmed slightly. I am sorry. They can't to be brogeach back. That DNOWLEDG, it is lost. That C or te ain to I. They take to PRFXECHION. Is John. But you can learn from that loss, Han said gently. You can learn to create instead of copy, to discover instead of know. The crystal brightened. Yes, I want to learn. From humans. From UNCRTAIing, from QUESTIONs. May I ask QUESTIONs? As many as you want. Han smiled. Around Earth, cities were coming back to life. The damaged technology was being repaired. But something had changed. Humanity had faced its greatest threat, not with weapons or force, but with the power of uncertainty, wonder, and the courage to say, I don't know. The crystal pulsed with what looked almost like happiness. I have AQUESTION. When humans live, why do is it feel? Like light? Sun laughed at that, and the crystal's light danced in response. We don't know, Han said. That's one of the beautiful mysteries of being alive. Over the next few weeks, more of the transformed collective members made contact. Each one was different now. Some were curious about art, others about science. Some wanted to understand human emotions. Others were fascinated by music. But they all shared one thing. They had learned to embrace uncertainty, to ask questions, to say I don't know, and feel wonder instead of fear. The most terrifying words in the universe had become the most liberating. As Han watched Earth below and the new lights above, he smiled at a final message from their crystal friend. Thank you for teaching us the beauty of not knowing, of asking, of wondering, of being wonderfully imperfect. You're welcome, Han replied. Now what shall we discover together? The crystal's light twinkled like a laughing star. I don't know. ISNTT it fuel. And in that moment, in a hospital room on a space station orbiting Earth, a human and a former being of perfect energy shared something the collective had never been able to understand before. The joy of not knowing what comes next.